Hey, what's happening? Just adjust my microphone here. Had a crazy night last night with the puppy not feeling too good, so trying to get some streaming in a little later than normal just because I didn't really have much of a chance to jump on sooner. But that's okay. Here, let me adjust my pop filter. Also, I'm trying to use two screens this time around. What up, Corey? What's happening? Okay, I got a ton left of this page to do. However, somebody gave me some fantastic advice, and I'm going to stick with it. Someone in the James Ray's virtual studio pointed out that I'm going way too normal brick pattern, and they're right. I need to fix that. And I will be, but not on the stream because that's way too much work, and I already went through a lot of just putting these bricks down in streams. So I'm working on trying to make them a little bit messier. Plus, this is a decrepit castle. It should be a decrepit rock formation. We'll mess around with that some more later. But first, let's get some of this this big and orc guy going here. Well, a giant creature thing. Let's give him weird screwed up ears. I should also look at the bad panel here to see what this. Okay, it's a dumb helmet. Got to create a dumb helmet for him. Yeah, I feel that with the resetting for work. Tried to do that, but physically it has not been working out for me lately. My back is just angry all the time, and that's what happens when you're busy being a tattoo artist. But that's just the way it is. It's because I'm constantly hunched over, which that is the downside. I need a new stand for my iPad because I'm using my Huion Canvas 13 as my secondary monitor, so I can have extra screens for my streaming process, which is, I'm not gonna lie, a lot nicer. But because I'm doing that, I need to get a secondary stand because I usually use my iPads on the Huion stand. So I think I'm gonna have to order another one of those because I do like it. It's a nice little basic stand. Doesn't cost that much and it works real well. Okay, I just have to remember that these guys are super far away, so I shouldn't be spending a ton of time on them. Get his like weird Hulk body. It's like Fat Hulk. What if the Hulk really needed to diet, Yeah, Corey, did you see the low res DAC animation that I posted last night? It reminds me of old school Castlevania art, and I think that's super fun. Like the video game itself, like an idle pose for Castlevania. And I will be messing around with that. Also, if you could at some point Facebook message me a list of all the changes to Medin's gear and attire. I know that there's not a ton. I know he's just wearing like more coats and stuff. But any little tips that you would want me to add, change, whatever. If you want that said whale tooth to be more prominent or whatever, just let me know. For everyone else who's watching this who probably doesn't know what I'm talking about, me and my brothers have a D&D campaign together and with their friends, and it's wonderful. Well, my friends now too. And it's a wonderful game, and we're working on making little animated tokens for everybody. Well, at least I'm working on that, and it works. So who knows? Maybe I'll make a little mini tutorial video of how to make animated tokens and how to make them work in Roll20, which surprisingly was easier than I expected. Yeah, Corey, I can't wait to get to Menin's. You know that Menin's mustache is going to be moving a little bit. That has to happen. As simple as that. Also, let me know if you have like a specific pose or anything you want Menin to be doing. Your forms will have to wait until everyone else's is done. Yes, I can tell you've been playing him significantly more wild over the last couple of times. Menin sounded scary last night. I'm sorry that I wasn't 100% there the whole time. Obviously, I'm dealing with the puppy stuff. He's just as an update, Corey. He is doing a lot better today. We didn't end up having to take him to the vet just yet because we're kind of playing it by ear. So that's at least plus. Should have done like some reference work on this, like looking up the Goblin King from what was it? The Hobbit. He is a pretty gross design. Gross in a good way, obviously. It was successful. Remember, this is in the background. So, Corey, what time did you have to be to work today? I'm assuming it was some ungodly hour that no human in their right mind should deal with. Okay. Oh, shoot. Is my, It is. Let's, refresh the iPad real quick. Don't know why it decided to be silly. There we go. Sorry about that. See, this is why I need to pay attention to these things. .20 a.m. Gross. I'm trying to flip around my clock a little bit, just because of the virtual studio that I became a part of with James Reyes. He wakes up real early, so at some point I'd like to be a part of some of the early morning shifts, but I'll probably never be able to do like the 4 a.m. thing. I was awake at 4 a.m. last night. It's because the doggo wasn't feeling good, and I didn't want to go to bed. Wanted to make sure he was okay. Well, I've always figured that menin in like every druid, it's less of them being good or bad and more of them being like a neutral kind of for the plants, so to speak. No, Menin's got a little bit more of a selfish side to him, which I like about his character, obviously. This musculature makes very little sense on this arm. It's a good thing it's a screwed up arm. Let's just go back to this light line. Yes, the balance. I agree. So, Corey, you got any cool plans for tonight? Got anything neat going on? Or just living the quiet life? Did I put any clothes on this guy? No, I did not. But I did put some random arrows in him. Gotta have those. He's kind of supposed to be a zombie, so let's give him some battle scars and... go with like the random anime scar. Gotta have that, right? Yes. Well, likewise, I'm excited for us to get into any kind of like combat because my whole character sheet is completely different now. Yeah. So it's gonna be a bit of a learning curve completely. Just a tad bit. But that would be fun, though. Also, I'm going to try to... I'm trying to use what just went down with Xerxene as a character driving arc, because I had just, when we were playing before, yes, when we were playing before, obviously the whole sister thing, that was when I literally wanted to change my character sheet around then. So that's why I landed on I'm just going to keep the Emperor thing, because at first I was concerned about that big of a change for my character, but I feel like it makes sense. It's one of those changes that I was already kind of working to happening, and as scary as it might be to completely change a character sheet around, it just felt right. Really, what I'm afraid of for my character sheet is actually the Roll20 RNG, because I really liked how well Xerxene was able to just pump out damage, and I'm afraid that because I went through all these changes, which is why I told Jordan to keep my old character sheet, is is that it will completely just kill what my sheet was capable of. Like, what, I don't know. I don't want, especially because some of my stats are completely different now, and those were things that I didn't try to change, but it kind of just did naturally when switching things around. Some of it I'm excited for because I feel like it'll change my role playing gameplay a little bit, and that's exactly what this whole thing was about. But I'm a little bit concerned about the actual rolls. I'll feel better once I actually like hit something. That will make me feel a lot better. Just to see what I'm capable of. Plus, I did lose all of my Vengeance Paladin spells. Like, I actually had to buy one back when changing my character sheet around, because there's no way I'm not having Misty Step. And luckily, I'm also a sorcerer, so I could do that. But it was scary. Misty Step I kept, but I'm excited to try using more buffs in our game. Okay. I should have... There we go. That's better. I feel like... he's like gonna have some Frankenstein attached to it. Yes, this is true. And also, when we have my sorcerer stuff that I've been doing, is when we have Jandir back more full time, I will be able to not worry about burning turns that way. Plus, I took Sentinel, which means now I'm literally a tank. Like, I am actually a protection tank, which is exciting. Because that is something that I've been wanting to do for this group since like the beginning, and now I've actually statted to do so. What I was thinking though, Corey, is like the way I've kind of got it in for a mindset is that Xerxene doesn't really want to be like a super leader, like, so to speak. He doesn't really want to change. He definitely doesn't want to change the dynamic of our group, but he wants to push our group forward to being like a leading dynamic. Like, he wants us to be able to help shape the narrative around and like what cities are going on. Basically, he finds all the politics to be completely bullshit, and that's what. So instead, he'd like to interject our voice into the politics without it being like, without having to be fully a part of it. Not trying to be like a straight on leader and be like, hey, I've controlled this area, but you can come to us for advice. Basically, creating the wardens as that sort of yeah, expect. Oh yeah, no, that Jordan. I looked at the sheet for what he gave me for the actual Emperor trait, which is really cool. It's something that I have to. I'm gonna have to play with from a role play perspective, because it's definitely Xerxene learned a lot about not getting into people's minds and doing that control kind of thing. He has a problem with that, and well, he now has Jedi mind powers, basically. Now that you've said it, I can 100% tell people that these are not the droids they're looking for. With 5 inspiration points, it can happen. I can Obi-Wan the shit out of that. Okay. other D&D players telling me what their character should look like. Which I will be making probably a video about that soon. Yes, we were able to do that before. Now I can straight up charm people and have full control over them. So. Yeah, I don't know if Jordan told you what he gave me, but he gave me like some crazy charms. Yes, sir. Yes, you are. Be it a really large one. Snake, you are. Oh, shoot. I hate when I pencil something in and it feels like it makes sense, and then I get into like do these like actual like inking pencil kind of thing, and now it's like, oh, how do I make that work? Okay, let's go to this part. This part makes way more sense for me. Gotta have the big weird hook arm, right? When I was drawing up this character, I was thinking of like 13 Ghosts, which is a movie that I really want to watch again, because I don't think Sammy's ever seen it. And it'd be fun to go through and introduce her to the ridiculousness of 90s horror. Well, she's been introduced to 90s horror. It's more of falling further down the rabbit hole. Actually, I think that 13 Ghosts was early 2000s. Something like that. But okay, well, I got through that sword part really quick, so now I have to figure out. See, the problem is this is supposed to be like where the elbow is, and I didn't quite make that make sense, but that's fine. We'll figure that out later. Anyway, fix it in post. Let's do one of these. Hulkfoot it, you know, rough toesies. Remember, it's way in the background. I'm gonna have to do better than that though, because it's in the background, but it's also in the middle of the background. Yes, yes, it is. It is the one with the glass house and with dude who plays Monk. Why am I forgetting his name? Tony something. I feel stupid about this. I just watched all of Monk recently. I should know. When all else fails, when drawing weird undead zombie horde, add chains, right? That's like tactic number 1. Yes, Tony Shalhoub. It's probably not how you say it, but you know, it's how it looks like it would be said. He's a great actor, though. I love everything he's ever done. You know what else I think I need to watch, at the very least for inspiration, is I want to watch Black Cauldron again. Is that on Disney Plus? Do you know, Corey? Or anyone else who's watching? Hasn't been in chat yet. Looks like we got a few people watching. I don't think it lets me. I can see who's in chat, not who's actually watching. I guess sound off if you are watching. Hey, what's happening? Thank you. I'm getting there here. I've been we're getting close. I'm gonna have to change around like all the brick wall textures eventually here, but a lot of it's getting better. I do have to do something with this here panel. There's something that feels wrong about it. I don't know what yet. It's just not dynamic enough, and something about his face is bothering me. I've tinkered with it. When I tinker at it close up, I like it, but the moment I zoom out, it feels weird. And I really like this one, and this one's really simplified, so I think I just have to simplify it down. I think I tried to put too much detail, too close up. So we'll play around with that. It is? Sweet. Yes. And Black Cauldron, I will be watching this weekend for sure. Maybe even tonight. We shall see. Because I miss that. I mean, you know, out of all of the I've been saying this for a while now, but out of all of these like new Disney live action stuff that they've been doing, like I feel like they've been picking the wrong movies to make live action. They've been picking like all the popular ones, which I personally feel like is the wrong way to go. I feel like the popular ones are already good, and we don't need to double down on something that's already good. Instead, take something that like keep in mind, Black Cauldron is awesome. It's one of my favorite Disney movies, but it's like one of the ones that I feel like it's not as popular, and because of that, they could actually like do new things. They could change things and not piss off everybody because you have more free reign because it wasn't super popular. It's kind of like when they decided to redo like a while ago with The Rock, Escape from Witch Mountain, which I still haven't watched. I actually want to though because The Rock's awesome, and well, Escape from Witch Mountain is a wonderful movie. So I would love to double down on that. Okay. And thank you, Brittany. I've been spending a lot of time on this. Not as much as I wish I could, ironically, even though I just looked at the actual time I've spent working on this because you can do that in Procreate, and it's like at like 10 hours on this page. Keep in mind, a lot of that is because I fall asleep while working on this after the streams, and I don't like spend a ton of time off stream working on it, but I do spend a little bit of time just tinkering with the things that bother me, things that I don't think would be very interesting on stream, like tinkering and fixing all the backgrounds. I'm trying not to do extra like brickwork and things on those. But yes, so far having two monitors, really good for streaming. Go figure. Should have known that before. Also, I finally got my green screen working really well, so that was cool. I finally got some straps in to tighten it completely so there was no more shadows. Did some research on how best to switch it up. Hey, you guys want to play a game? See how red I'm slowly getting? It's because the door in my office is closed, so the AC is outside. It's very warm in here. It'll only get more warm as time goes. Okay, so we got that big brute dude going. I'm going to just be okay with his legs for now. They're far enough away that I think that'll be good. I gotta draw some more skeletons, undeads in the background here, but then I gotta figure out the actual layout of the landscape behind, which is fairly important. And I kind of already figured out what it's supposed to be. It's how I get that angle, because I'm breaking my 2-point perspective while doing this, and I knew that when I was drawing it. So I feel like what I should do is show you guys a cheat real quick. Well, it's not really a cheat. It's actually a very good tool. So we're going to start a whole new layer. I'm running out of layers for this artwork, by the way. It's too big for a lot of layers. And I'm on this new layer. I'm going to be adding a drawing assist. Getting the emails. Edit my drawing guide. Let's go with perspective. And now's the tricky part. Where do we figure out where our point would go? Kind of want it to be like upper, because... Oh wait, no, that wouldn't work. I need it to be like over here. So this is the 2 points, so it should be, the original horizon should be somewhere around here. And I think... yeah, this might work. Do I want it to be 2-point though? Because the other point would have been way over here. Oh yeah, that might work. So basically, when you have these horizontal grids, you can put drawing assist onto a layer, and it makes it so that you can only draw on that, which is pretty good. But I feel like what I did though just there was just recreate the grid I already had, which I know is flawed. So I figured this is the kind of stuff that I should probably work on at a different time. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of that drawing guide. I will be figuring that out because basically this background is where the tower is going to be, and I do already have, because of the page 1 and my cover, I know what these buildings are supposed to be. They're supposed to be some towered buildings working their way down from the top corner to the lower corner, and they're kind of like staggered. And I need to kind of figure out how best to do those buildings and give like a little bit of a wall, but I want one building closer because that's going to be the background of this 4th panel. Yeah, I'll have to check that out still, Corey. I mean, like, I figured it would just be a decent rock movie. Yeah. Well, that's also why, if you couldn't tell with the mathematics of art statement, Corey, I have not touched any of the staircase here because it does make sense from the perspective I drew before, because I actually did perspective lines in this panel. That's why this building's a very cut and paste kind of thing, and that's why I'm going to fix that with the bricks. But the stairs work. They're just weird, and there's something about them that is off to me too. So instead, we're going to get some really quick background character sketches done. So like this guy, this will be very fast. He's going to have a very basic helmet. And that gave him a tabard. I don't know why I didn't just make my paladin have this exact kind of setup. Probably because I didn't want to like make it look too much like Dante's Inferno, but the video game anyway. Even though I love that character design a bunch. Didn't get a chance to play through the whole game though. And everybody else seems to have arrows in them, so let's not give this guy arrows. Well, his buddy over here lost an arm, so let's make it so that he's lost an arm too. Bam. Oh yeah, no, the floors, that one was easier. Basically, the tip I got was one of those ones where somebody just tells you something and you're like, God, I hate how right you are. Basically, he pointed out that, like, especially on my first page, and I'll go bring it up as a visual aid here in just a second. Let me just finish this guy. But he was like, yeah, you know, it's just everything's a little bit too perfect. And I completely agree, especially on the bridge going in. I don't know why I was thinking it would have to be these big square bricks, but like that was how my brain was when I was initially doing it. Mostly, I think it was because I was trying to do it all originally with my fountain pen, and it just was the easiest way to do it was to grab a ruler and just power through. And yeah, I know, but he pointed that out, and I was like, oh, you're right. So I went online and I did a bunch of research of old school actual castles and like what they kind of look like. And most of the time, they're just random rocks stacked on top of each other. So the good news is I think I can make a brush to make my life easier. And I started working on that a little bit ago, where I'm just making the actual like patterns of the rocks so I can just draw them in. Okay, I don't think that his feet would go past like here, so that's where he's gonna be. Bam. Ooh, yes. Giant spear. Yes, agreed. I'll do one of these. You are right. It was necessary. Also, it needs to be adjusted. Gotta get the perspective somewhat right. And an arm. Got that. There we go. Got some scribblies. There are going to be gestures to some spear flag people and stuff. Well, yeah, we'll put one right there. I already did that before. It's one of these kind of things. You know what I don't get is how everybody who emails me for work always emails me on my day off, and I just don't. I mean, no problem with that. That's fine. It's just funny how that plays out. If you do like the statistics of like how things seem to tend to work for my job, it's always people hitting me up on Thursdays. What is it about Thursdays that makes people want to ask tattoo questions? Interesting. Okay, bam. There we go. Got a random flag over there. Let's do another one where I had one initially over here. Flag persons. I didn't add any halberds or anything to this group of zombos, but that's okay. Halberds. Okay, so figure out the background of that. What time we got here? 5:48. Okay. I've been streaming for too long. Let's see. See, this is where you guys are right here, so I can chat with you in the. So when you see me look over here, it's me looking at the chat. Everything over here is me making sure that I'm not being stupid and something's broken on my OBS stream. And then down is where my art project is. So many screens. They're all like roughly the same size too, which is kind of weird. Let's see here. So we've gone for a half hour. Okay, so this last panel is going to need some tinkering. Only because I want to make it more dynamic, which means we're bringing the paladin, which I do like the pose of his like top torso here, but I want to bring him closer to the camera so that it's like looking up at the big guy. So, need to, first off, make us a new layer, which I was doing all those little panels in the little layer, but we're going to be making some adjustments. Okay. No, what? Eraser is not what we're looking for. That would be a fun factoid to kind of try to figure out how often we can catch me doing silly things just by looking in the upper right-hand corner of my iPad screen. Probably be fairly regular. Okay. If all things go well, depending on how the doggo is feeling, I should have some regular YouTube videos at least made this weekend. I don't know if I'll get to actually post anything this weekend, but I will be at least working on some just standard edited videos that I can actually post again, and that would be wonderful. I haven't been able to really do that. Been so busy. I also have to work on a animation project for Coop's YouTube, which I will be starting up this weekend. I already did like his animated logo. He's going to be starting up a YouTube channel eventually here, and it's a little bit of a secret as to what it is, but I am doing a a bigger intro for it, which is going to be awesome. Oh, we don't need that. That's too much. But actually, Corey, because you're on here, I've been thinking more and more about how, because we're figuring out all these cool things on Roll20, that I would like to, if given the chance here, make some videos specifically for like how we've been setting up the game. And I think that there's a lot of things that people might not have thought about when using Roll20, as like how powerful. I mean, I know we make fun of it for having its issues literally all the time, but being able to have animated tokens in that program changes everything. Realistically, we could do that with background stuff too, especially because of the more or less simple way it is. It's all, yes, very low resolution and stuff, but that's not a problem. I mean, especially considering all of us are pretty nerdy, and we all talk about like old school Final Fantasy and Castlevania and all these types of things, that we can kind of mimic those art styles a bit. And I wouldn't mind A, showing people how to do that, and B, I was even thinking about it might even be a secondary gig thing for me to do, offer doing that kind of stuff for people's parties. Uh-oh. The dog alarm's going off. It's a good thing Sammy's over there. Yeah, I almost did this stream working on our character animated character sheets, just because I thought that would be cool. But and because that's where my brain's at. But I gotta finish this comic. Get distracted real easy. So maybe I'll just make an actual video out of it instead, which also means that I can spend time tinkering, because animating takes a lot of time. Obviously, not as much time for what we're using it for, but because I really only need like 6 to 8 frames for every single one of our characters. So Corey, how's everyone else at the house? You guys all home, or is it just you and Dad? Is Mom still not feeling super great? Equidistant lines. I did it again too. Trying to get the lines nice and light. See, I've made it a point while working on this whole project to not change the size of this brush, because I've made a whole folder just for brushes for this project. Oh yeah, she hurt her arm. Gotcha. Well, way to hurt. Make fun of her for me. Too old to hurt herself. You gotta stop doing that. You know, I'm too old to hurt myself at this point too. I'll learn that lesson real quick. Okay, so we got that. Get some cape folds. Not really a huge fan of how that came out, but that's fine. We can always go back in and fix things later. That is the point of multi-step projects like this. Nope. Okay, party people. Get some of these in here. Try to play with some perspective. I'm not trying to put that foot in there too much because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be getting rid of it. So basically what I was thinking was to potentially, I don't know. Ooh, wait, I have to check something real quick because I might want to leave that panel the way it is. Yeah. I don't know. Here, I got an idea. We're gonna make a new one. We're gonna try out a couple of things real quick. Let's go to a completely different tool. Just for funsies, let's shut that off. Which, by the way, that's what it's looking like so far with just clean lines, which is looking pretty good. I need, though, to try out something. So we want this guy, our main character, to feel smallish, right? So if we made him at like kind of like this, and by that I mean like maybe swords down here, right? Okay, so bam, if we put the cape kind of going off, so we were focusing on the main character here, then we can do Mr. Big Guy here in this like upper corner. Looking upwards because, you know, looking down, but you know, pointing down this way, but by facing head upward because it's like the cocky, arrogant kind of pose. And then we can make it look like I'm looking up upon him. honestly, might not be a good place for that there sword. If I'm putting it down, like, it shows that he's, like, not ill-prepared, but you know what I mean. Looks like he's less ready for the big guy. I haven't shared with you guys the actual, like, writing of this yet, but there's a specific reason why I need this panel. Okay, we can have that go off this way, kind of come forward towards us. So this gives a little bit more scale. I think this is the panel we need, plus I can get said other skeleton who needs to be lower right here. He'll be kind of blocked off a little bit, but his spear will be like going up here. So it's a little bit more chaotic, and also it makes it so that the background's less important, which is just why I can use more of those textures I was talking about. Hey, Brittany. He is feeling a little better. He was not doing too hot last night. Got real bad stomach problems, and we stayed up all night last night with him. Well, Sammy ended up literally staying up all night with him. I was up until about like 4:30 or something like that. So making sure that he's feeling better because he was having a rough night. Okay, I think that this was the answer, guys. I think that is our new panel. Got a little bit more of a dynamicness to it. Basically, you want to always kind of draw the eye where you want it to go. Which is why, fun little comic book chat here. Let's switch to a very obvious color that I can get rid of easily. Okay, so when you are drawing a comic book, the goal is to draw the eye where you want it to go. So there are little tricks that you can do with that, but it almost always is, you want the camera's motion to go towards the general area of where you want things to be. So for instance, with this one, this character is looking this way, right? Which is enticing the reader to first, our eyes naturally go to like the lettering, so it goes to like title card, to his visual pointing this way. From there, we slide over to these guys, and as you're kind of looking through this picture, which you're going to obviously see like the tower stuff in the background, and you know, we're going to be kind of looping our eyes back around because this guy is facing this way, to know that we're supposed to go all the way to the far left, because US comics, obviously you end up reading left to right, so you go from here. This is why you want to place your speech bubble somewhere nice. So from here we obviously know that we're supposed to go this way, but where this is the end of the page, I don't mind having it so that you're kind of looking up at this character. Plus we want it to be a big character, so I want to make it look like it's looking up towards it. You could see a lot of this kind of mindset in my first page specifically. It, like, where the paladin's sword is facing is literally like where your eyes are going to go in a couple of the frames, because it's like the first one is the sword's kind of like down, and so it's telling you that you got to look to the next panel lower below it, and so the bridge is pointing towards the second panel. In the third panel, the character is holding down his weapon and it's pointing at the fourth panel. It's just little tricks like that. You don't always have to follow those rules. There's a lot of ways to kind of go by it. But I mean, it's a good kind of strategy to have. Okay, so we're getting rid of that first one we started because it's pointless. And instead, we will be switching back to the appropriate tool and try to clean up this here panel, because once I have that done, it's just a lot of bricks and floors and things. I might do a little bit on here to hopefully yeah, thank you, Brittany. Yeah, he's doing a lot better today. We were going to go to the vet if it was still bad, but he's actually doing much better today, so we're going to stick with that. But yeah, so I mean, I might try to mess around with those stairs a little bit in this stream, but then I have to prepare for page 4, which, guys, as we progressively get through this comic, you're going to realize how much faster I did all the pencil lines, and they're going to end up looking more and more like this new panel that I've got going here, where I just was like, okay, the rough character designs are there, and now let's just power through them and get the mess on there. Because I don't normally spend a lot of time on my penciling stage of things. I work in layers, so my pencils to me are like, especially with digital art, are the first like 3 times I go over something, and then once I have those like roughly those 3 times over it, I know exactly what's supposed to be where, and usually by that third time it is essentially my inks. Like I kind of like this particular brush. I don't think I'm going to end up going through and changing up everything unless I end up somehow making it more or less lineless, which is a bad idea. Because that's just way more work. But I've been playing around with a couple of different ideas for this comic, and one being that it would be kind of cool, before I get to the coloring of this, is if I, with at least the people who are following me on stream and stuff, wanted to, I might do a little like coloring contest or something with like one of the pages, maybe the first page, see how everyone else would tackle it, just for fun, make it into like a coloring book for a day. If you guys are interested in that, just let me know. I think that could be a fun thing to do on my channel, and I am always interested in seeing what other people's artwork is. That being said, in general, I plan on doing a some sort of coloring book. Once everything was going crazy in quarantine, that was something I wanted to do for everybody. I just didn't end up having too much time to do it. The dog is really distracting. And yes, I will always use the dog as an excuse. He's a good excuse. Okay, I don't like those. Let's instead get these arms out of the way. So, if I remember correctly, the back of my character... Oh, I don't even have a picture over here. It just has a square like this. Put that up like that. Yes, he does. Brady is like, I'm the only one in the world that exists, so you should just be paying attention to me, obviously. He's very demanding, which, Corey, when he's sick, it is so much worse. The only thing that's, like, not that bad when he's sick is that he's kind of a lot more cuddly, which is nice. He's like, I just want the attention because I don't feel good. But last night at 4 o'clock in the morning, he started being a little bit more chipper, and ironically, the reason why we knew that he was feeling better is because he started biting us again. And we're like, oh, well, I guess that means you're starting to feel more like your usual self. So basically, the fact that he was more of an asshole made us feel more confident that we didn't have to go to the vet today. I do not like this pauldron. But that's okay. I don't like a lot of things that I work on. So instead, we're gonna keep cruising. Remember what I was talking about with like layers, guys. This is gonna be the super rough like character layer. Then I will phase that layer down, lower the opacity, and go over it one more time just to have the more or less finished result. Here, just because my email keeps going off. Somebody really wants to get a hold of me. Okay. It's also gotten really warm in my office. But they're both hanging out outside the door, so I don't want to make it too crazy. Oh, we'll respond to that email later and disappoint her then. All these people who are like, when's the soonest I can get in? And I have to be like, October something, because it's crazy busy. Corey, as you know, I appreciate your alliteration all the time. Please. All the alliteration always, please. It's my favorite. Super Saiyan Blue in my comic book. I don't know if that would work out particularly well, Evan. But that being said, though, I started following a couple other people who are in the same virtual studio that I'm in, and they do a lot of little challenge videos. And I thought it would be fun at some point to break up some of my comic book art making with like some live stream fan art kind of things, because I obviously am quite a nerd when it comes to a lot of stuff. And okay. Super Saiyan Evan, yes. Well, here, to make you feel better, Evan, if I did this real quick. And I have not drawn Dragon Ball Z characters in a very long time. Their jaws don't look like that. Okay, we gotta get rid of it though. That's not quite fit into the comic. Not really the same style. Although funny, especially when I skim through the timeline, that's gonna look, or when I do a time lapse of these pages, that's gonna be a really silly moment. I gotta start thinking of putting those silly moments in just for fun anyway. But yeah, how do you guys like that as an idea? If I did some like little fan art days or something like that, I think that that could be cool. I do like me a lot of nerdy stuff, and I feel like any excuse to do fan art is always a good time. Which, you know, I always land on wanting to do more fan art in like the like horror realm of like me loving Alien and Predator and like, you know, horror movies. But I could easily do some of like drawing in a specific style or something like that. You're very welcome, Evan, anytime. Could probably also draw like a bunch of things from memory, just for like from my childhood. Like Dragon Ball Z characters, it's been a long time since I've done it, but a lot of my early days of drawing anatomy were based on Batman cartoons and Dragon Ball Z, so I kind of have to appreciate where the skills have come from. Which is what I try to explain to people, where it's like I don't really watch anime anymore. I have people telling me all the time that, oh, well, you should watch this, you'd really like it. And it's like, I don't disagree that I'd like it. The problem is I have no time in my life for anime anymore. It's all so long, there's so much of it, and it's just, I can't keep up anymore. And I don't like starting up things that I can't keep powering through. Yeah, it's working in the Sonic the Hedgehog style, Evan. That's always fun too. It's a good style. Nice and clean. Okay. Wow, that is too long. Too much wind flowing. Yeah, man, that's like I said. Honestly, those are the type of cartoon characters that are really good to like learn to draw with in general. Like Sonic the Hedgehog characters. I mean, just in general, like those are their style's super fun. It's cartoony, but it's able to be used in a number of different ways. Like there are a lot of like Sonic the Hedgehog art styles that I've been seeing out there. Even like some of the well, obviously not like the old cartoon or anything like that, but the some of the games that they had, like some of the artwork for it is actually really cool, and it's interesting to see people take a super cartoony styled characters and put them into like a more gritty real world. That was honestly the weird part around that was a GameCube era of Sonic the Hedgehog, where they're like, what if Sonic had like a human girlfriend? And you're like, that is strange. At least it felt strange to me anyway. Hell yeah. Can't go wrong with that, man. I still draw all those characters. See, that's the cool part about my job. Is there's never really been a time that I wasn't drawing nerdy things. And considering that comic book art is like kind of my specialty. Okay. Cool part about when things go completely off the page is you can make it up however you want. You can be like, this kind of looks right, I think. Okay. One portion of this done. I definitely will say right now that I am really enjoying this new panel way more. So everything was feeling a little bit flat to me. Even this like top big panel felt a little bit flat, and I was getting a little bit concerned about the layout of it. But just doing this to the bottom really helps that out a bit, and that's why I need to really figure out something dynamic for the background here, because the towers and levels are supposed to keep moving progressively higher, and I need to kind of make that visually make sense. You know it, man. Gotta have them grunts. The zombie army. Okay. That being said, let's try him next. So like I said, this is going to be messy, and then I'll go through and clean them up. I don't know. That might be something I'm able to do today. I don't know, though. We've already been on here for an hour, so... Okay, so I went with... You know, it's funny that you said Dragon Ball Z anyway, because kind of went with the Dragon Ball Z look to this, other than the eyes themselves. But I went with like the browless sort of thing, which is very much like it's like a Dragon Ball Z thing. It's like the Piccolo / any character who doesn't have too much hair. Thanks, Nick. Okay. Let's get in there. Let's make this nose. No, don't like that. Don't like that. Oddly enough, the nose is fine. Tusks are weird. To draw, anyway, that is. Hmm. Hey, no worries, Corey. Thank you for joining in. I'll probably be streaming for a little bit longer, and thanks for visiting, Evan. Obviously, thank you guys. I very much always appreciate the hangouts. It's very nice. Obviously, I'm going to be continuing for a little bit here while I figure out the rest of this panel, and then we'll be on to the next one. Gross. Well, good night, Evan. Yeah, or enjoy your food, num nums there, and get some freaking sleep before work, brah. Same with Corey. Get yourself some rest so that we can, chill for the future here. Okay. I don't mind the general shape of said head, but it needs to be more of a slant, a little bit higher. Well, thank you for chilling. Feel free to join on any stream, man. I'm gonna try to do more regularly scheduled ones. At least that's the plan anyway. But it's just been hectic lately. I should have a video actually talking about that done up this weekend, so probably be posted sometime around Sunday or Monday. At least that's the plan. I gotta get through the editing and filming of it though. But I will have more on that later. Get my very, very, very rough sign element here. I think that this is real good and all, but also still too big. Something like that, not bad. This gargantuan figure in here. Okay, this is where we can actually make that weird stub of an arm make sense. Oh man. Give me 1 second, guys. Ah! Ah! Let me fix the camera. Sorry, I got a phone call, and it's not supposed to go on this other old camera, but it sometimes does it anyway. So my parents messaging me, so that means I will have to be ending this stream soon. But let me get the rest of this sketch done here, because that's just about as good as any time to kind of go. But let's get the rest of this detailed sketch at least put on here. Now, did I give him any? I don't think I gave him any sort of like weird armor, but we'll probably end up doing that soon enough. His arms are real big. Okay, so. Okay. Scars, some cuts, we got a bit of arrow sticking out. Another one over here. Something along the lines of that. Okay, everybody. I think that this is going to be where we call it for now. Next time you see this image, hopefully it'll be Monday. I'll do another stream where I will go over all the quick changes that I ended up making with all the bricks and stuff. I'm hoping to just get that out of the way this weekend when I get a chance, just to clean it up. And it's going to take a little bit of time, and it doesn't necessarily have to be something that anyone will be particularly interested in seeing. However, I will be going back through, and we will I will finish up this fourth panel with everybody. I probably will just try to figure out basically the backgrounds on my own, but I would love for everyone to come and join me again. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I might end up streaming later tonight, but I'm going to let my office cool off as best as I can and see how that goes. I wouldn't mind jumping back in and at the very least finishing this panel, because if I get that out of the way, once the background's done, we're done with pages 2 and 3, and we can move on to page 4. Ooh, do you want a teaser? Let's go with the teaser, eh? It's going to be very light, and I don't know how well it's going to be picked up on the iPad, but give a little bit of an idea of where the next page is going to go. Yeah, that's real hard to see in the stream. It's real dark. Or, you know, maybe I can, let's see here. Let's get it up a little closer. See, so we're going to have some cool stuff going on. Yeah. So, that'll be the next thing. The good news is that since we just blew through 2 pages, we'll be on the 4th, which means we're almost to the halfway point of this whole comic story, which is super cool. Obviously, I'm glad that everyone's been joining in with me. I'm still not going to be putting any of the words on it just yet, because of 2 things. That's kind of going to be my own final editing stage, where I wrote up this whole thing loosely, but very loose, so I'm going to be editing things as I go. But once again, thank you guys for joining me. I might jump on later. If I do, just keep an eye out for my Facebook page. I'll definitely send a post with a link to it. And yeah. Anyway, enjoy your night, guys, and we'll see you all later. Bye-bye.